Hello everyone, welcome back to Acoustic Paradiso here on Andertons TV. I'm Ben and I'm surrounded by 7 custom shop Martins. Yes, what a day. Oh, it's a tough job and all that kind of thing, but someone's got to do it. Before I get into the guitars, don't forget to click like and subscribe. When we hit 850,000 subscribers, we're going to be giving away a Victory V4 amp pedal, which is a very fun thing to have. So yeah, do click like and subscribe, and then you'll be kept up to date with all the videos we make here on the channel. But first of all, let me tell you about these guitars. They're pretty special, I have to say. These are limited to the UK and the EU. These are the custom shop North Street edition guitars from Martin. Now, North Street was the address of the Martin factory during the kind of golden era of the Martin guitar manufacturing time. Didn't put that sentence together very well, did I at all? But yeah, the North Street factory was where Martin made their guitars in the golden era. Sometimes known as the bone guitars because of the herringbone inlay that was, you know, very common on guitars around that time. These are not replicas. I should say that straight off. These are not replicas of guitars that were made at that time, but these are heavily inspired by some of the construction methods that were around, but they've been given kind of more modern updates in various respects, which we'll look at now. So the one that I'm going to start with here, which shows that they're not replicas, is the D35. Now this, the D35, if you don't know, is very easy to spot because it's got a 3-piece back rather than a 2-piece back. And this is the D35 with wild grain East Indian rosewood. And that is a feature on some of these guitars. We'll see those. The D35, there's only kind of one model in this series, and it is the wild grain series. So you can see on the back here, the grain of this rosewood is, well, wild. It's really figured, it's really nice, it looks great. It's got the classic inlays down the stripes there. I mean, this is a beautiful guitar. It's a beautiful guitar. One thing that these all have in common across the whole range, they've all got an Adirondack spruce top, which, you know, if Adirondack is the kind of the highest level of spruce, I would say. The highest level is not the right word, but the wood for these guitars has all been selected from the custom shop wood store. Adirondack spruce gives you kind of it's very hard to describe, but a kind of faster attack. It's a bit snappier, it's a bit brighter, and it is the kind of top that was used on, you know, guitars around that period. Another kind of thing that differentiates these from the standard series that you can buy now is that these all have golden era bracing, and it's scalloped bracing inside. It's more scalloped than the standard bracing, which means that it does give the guitars a slightly different tonalities. They have a kind of a more pronounced low end, some people say, because of the lighter bracing on the tops. But it is a more kind of traditional way of bracing a guitar that does hark back to that kind of 1930s style. This has got the herringbone inlay, the classic herringbone inlay, which I love. It's got these kind of the bridge pins here. I've got, I think, is that abalone in there? But this is such a beautiful guitar. The updates that I mentioned, which kind of do differentiate them from that golden era period of guitars, these all have a truss rod, which is really useful, and the neck is not the kind of very big vintage neck. This is a modern neck for you know, much easier playability. I'm not going to go through all the specs on all of these guitars because we've got 7, so if we went through all of them, we'll literally be here for hours. Do check down below. There are detailed specs down there. There's links to these on the Andertons website where you'll be able to find out all of the stuff that you want to know about them, basically. There's also timestamps down there, so if you want to skip ahead to a particular, you know, one of these models in particular, do that and you can find everything you want. So that's great. The D35, I mean, me and Pete did some jams on these, and all of these guitars are incredible. The D35 though is the most expensive of all of them, and it just feels and sounds incredible. It's just a big guitar. I'm just going to strum it a little bit more, and then I'll show you some of the stuff that comes with all these guitars. But I just want to play the D35 more because it's so nice. So here we go. I mean, it sounds like you've already recorded it, put it through a really nice desk and done all the stuff to it. And it just, I mean, in the room, it just sounds just so lovely. I mean, today's a good day at the office for me, I've got to say. Let's look at some of the stuff that you get with these. These all come with a super high spec 5-ply case. You know, it's a really nice hard case, as you would expect for a guitar of this level. I'm going to have a look at the case candy as well. Now, I'm going to be very careful when I open these. Take my thumb pick off here. They all come with this. Now, if I open this, you will see that in here is a hand-tooled leather custom shop thing. Oh, it's got that new leather smell with an embossed serial number certificate and all the stuff. I'm just going to put that away. That's really nice though. Yeah, that's really nice. I'm going to put that very carefully back in its envelope for whoever is lucky enough to buy this guitar. That's the case candy. I'll put that down there. I think it's time to move on to some of these other just incredible guitars. I mentioned that they've got the wild grain East Indian rosewood like this. I'm going to do some comparisons now between some of the models which we've got, which are the East Indian straight rosewood and the East Indian wild grain. And I'm going to start over here with some more dreadnoughts. All right. All right, so we've got the D28. We're going in descending numerical order now from the D35. So here I have the D28, and this is the version with the East Indian wild grain back and sides. It does have a, I mean, it's a really, really beautiful grain pattern on these. We thought it would be interesting to see how they sound kind of compared next to each other. Actually, I'm going to hold them both. Try not to hit either of them into each other or the microphone. You can see here a comparison between these two. So this one has got the wild grain, which is very obvious when you compare it to the straight grain of this one. I mean, to be honest though, the straight grain is also a beautiful piece of rosewood, as you would expect from, you know, custom shop Martin guitars. Let's start with the wild one. I'll move on to the straight one. Don't forget, specs and everything for all these guitars are down below. So if you want to find out the real nuts and bolts, you know, how many millimeters are in everything, do check down there. But for now, I'm going to play this one. This is the East Indian Wild Grain Rosewood Herringbone D28. I'm going to play the other one. Still going. So there we are. I mean, tonally, there's not a huge difference between the two, I would say. But they do both sound amazing. I know that I just keep saying how good they are, but there's not really much else I can say because they are just so good. You know, like these are all classic models that so many other acoustic guitars are based on. That to play one that is, you know, basically a very original design to how they were made, you know, back in the 1930s, in terms of the kind of the important stuff, I would say. So the bracing, the tonality, the woods, that kind of stuff. These are just, they're spectacular. They really, really are. And these Rosewood D28s, yeah, something else. Let me know what you think. Can you hear much of a difference between the wild grain and the straight grain? I'm not sure. I would have to go and listen back to it when I'm not actually playing the guitars, because when I play the guitars, I just start grinning and then I just enjoy playing them. But yeah, we've all been blown away by them all morning today when we've just been, you know, tuning them up. You go, oh, that sounds incredible. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next guitars. So here's another jam with me and Pete. So that's the OM28 Wild Grain East Indian Rosewood. Again, I'm going to play the other one straight away so we can hear the difference. So that was the straight Rosewood back and sides one. Much bigger tonal difference between the two of these than there was between the D28s. Yeah, that's really interesting actually. I wasn't expecting it to be so different, and we've just been having a discussion here as to which one we prefer the sound of. I think Pete likes the wild grain. I might be erring on the side of this, which is the straight grain. I think so, and I think Oz looks like he's nodding along in agreement with me because I'm so wise, basically. But yeah, saying that, they're both beautiful guitars. Check the specs, all that stuff is below, timestamps, all that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I really, really, really like these. They are different. They're certainly different to the standard series. That bracing makes a difference to the way the guitar reacts, and it is a difference that I enjoy a lot. Really, really, really nice. They're so they're really hi-fi, these. So by which I mean, just everything sounds so kind of polished and lovely, and just individual notes on their own just ring for so long. The sustain is great. You can feel the whole guitar, all of these. The whole thing kind of reverberates and vibrates when you're playing it, which is exactly what you want. They're really alive. So that, yeah, it's a pleasure. Right, I'm going to move on to the next one now, and we'll start with another jam from me and Pete. All right. So there we go. That was me and Pete on these two, which are the 18s. 18 denominates mahogany back and sides, all right? So we've got a D18 and an OM18. The mahogany that is being used is actually Sinker mahogany from Belize. If you're not sure what Sinker mahogany is, it's basically wood that's been submerged for X number of years, a long time. And it changes the structure of the wood. It kind of does something with, it crystallizes some stuff in there. There's lots of very interesting articles on the internet about it, which I'm not going to try and explain because we don't really need to. All you need to know is that Sinker mahogany is as close as you can get kind of today to the mahogany that was used in these golden era guitars back in the 30s. So that is why it's a really good choice for these North Street Custom Shop Edition guitars. They've still got the Adirondack spruce top on them, Adirondack spruce bracing, all that kind of thing. As ever, Specs are down below. I'm just going to give them a little play, see how they sound. It's amazing. I mean, they sound amazing, but let's see how they actually sound here. So. It's such a treat. It's such a treat. A different sound to the 28, obviously because it's got the mahogany rather than the rosewood, and it's got those usual kind of tonal differences you find between the two, which we've discussed more. But it's it's a really, really beautiful example of a really nice OM 18. I love it. These have all got it's wonderful. I'm going to play the Dreadnought now. These are all just really nice examples of classic guitars, and I'm having such a lovely time playing them. The last but not least, the humble D18. Again, Sinker mahogany from Belize. You can see the grain on here. It's lovely. A bit more understated than the 28 models because it doesn't have the herringbone inlays and stuff, but that kind of simpler aesthetic is really nice. And actually the grain on the top of this is super nice. When it catches the light right, you can see all the stuff. Oh, it's wonderful. Anyway, it's a D18. I'm going to play some D18 stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what was your favourite of them all. I mean, these are high-end guitars. I think they start around the £5,000 mark and go up to around £6,000 for the D35. You will be paying a premium if you go for the wild grain rosewood rather than the straight grain. But as we heard, with the 28s, it does actually make more of a difference than just the aesthetics. So the best thing to do, I would say, would be to come into the guitar gallery and try them if you can. And you'll have a lovely day. So that would be a great thing to do. You can call the shop and they'll set you up in a nice quiet room where you can face really tricky decisions about which guitar you want to buy. But there we go. I've been Ben. This is Andertons TV. It's Acoustic Paradiso. I'm going to play out on this rather lovely North Street Custom Shop Edition D18 from Martin. And we'll see you again soon for more videos. All right.